You're listening to Cinematic Adventures, proud member of the Misfit Faction Media Network.
Good morning, Vietnam!
I love the smell of napalm in the morning.
You're gonna need a bigger boat.
I feel the need for speed.
Road, where we're going, we don't need roads.
Snakes. Why did it have to be snakes?
Vices? We don't need no vices. I don't have to show you any stinking vices.
You make me want to be a better man.
Nobody puts baby in a corner.
I wish I knew how to quit you.
Love means never having to say you're sorry.
He's looking at you, kid.
Not bad. I'm just drawn that way.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Cinematic Adventures. Don't forget, if you guys are listening to us on the go, you can find us on Podbean, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, basically anywhere you get your podcast. You can also find more of our content on our website, themisfitfaction.com. There you find links to not only this show, but some of our other shows like Multiverse Fancast and MF Uncensored. As always, I'm one of your hosts, Paul. With me in the studio today is Sean. Sean, how are you today?
I am great, Paul. You seem a little out of it.
I am a little out of it.
Really?
You shut up. You
What did I do?
shut your mouth.
Oh no, what's wrong? That I care.
I am feeling a little the hangover today.
Oh no, that's not good.
So
What did you do last night?
I enjoyed myself a little too much. Big shout out to Loyal Cocktails, sponsor the show because he sponsored my night last night apparently. But so we, in that vein, we decided to take a look back at one of the weirder movie series, and weirder in terms of just they caught lightning in a bottle, and then they shattered the bottle, then they threw the bottle into the ocean, and then they tried to remake the bottle out of sand. That's how bad this series went.
Well said.
Thank you. I put a lot of thought into that analogy. I don't know how it came together, but here we are. And that, of course, is the Hangover Trilogy. Yeah. So this is a series that the first movie is still really good.
Yes, it is. It's very much like Transformers.
Yes, but they have not come back to redeem themselves yet.
No, and I don't
No.
expect them to, and I don't need them to.
No, we're good. We know this story. So the first one came out 2009 and was a huge success, like humongous success.
Came out the same time as Transformers 2, because I remember
That's actually really funny.
We wanted to see that, and we couldn't get in, and then we were like, oh, let's go see The Hangover.
Thank God we did.
Yeah, seriously.
It was much better movie.
It's a very much better movie.
It is a very much
better movie.
I am feeling The Hangover today. So then the sequels start coming out, and the second one comes out, and we'll talk about it, but it is a retread of the first one, except everything gross is dialed up to 11.
Yes.
And then the third one, they're like, all right, well, we'll do an original story that's not like the first two.
Yeah.
And it didn't work either. So let's take a look back at what happened to the Hangover series. Oh, no. I know. So, as we said, the first Hangover movie came out in 2009. It stars Bradley Cooper, Ed Helms, Zach Galifianakis, Heather Graham, Justin Bartha, Ken Jeong, and Jeffrey Tambor.
And honestly, when the movie came out, I mean, Bradley Cooper was not Bradley Cooper yet.
Bradley Cooper had just done the comebacks.
No.
Wait, he was in the comebacks, yeah.
The spoof movie?
Yeah.
I don't remember him in that.
He was the hillbilly that couldn't talk.
Really?
Him and Will Arnett are in that movie. They're all in the barbershop together.
I don't remember. Well, again, I haven't seen that movie since we saw it in theaters. But
yeah, this
is, I believe, before 18 or after 18.
Well, I'm going to take a quick look.
See, there you go. Because I mean, really, at this time, really, all we knew Bradley Cooper really from was like being the dick in Wedding Crashers, and then he had that like small role in the Matthew McConaughey classic Failure to Launch.
Ready? Wedding Crashers was 2005. That's where we all kind of he had done some other things, but that was like the big one. Failure to Launch in 2006. The Comebacks in 2007.
No recollection of that.
Only as the cowboy. Yeah. Midnight Meat Train.
Oh,
I remember that one. Yeah. The Rocker. I remember that one vaguely. Yes Man. I forgot he was in.
Rocker. Isn't that the one with the what's his name from the
Rainn Wilson. Yeah.
Yeah.
But Yes Man with Jim Carrey.
Never saw that movie.
It's good. It turns a little liar towards the end.
Yeah.
But for the most part, and then it jumps to He's Just Not That Into You. And then The Hangover hits in 2009.
And then that means the 18 was 2010.
That was the same year he did All About Steve. Oh, I remember. That's like one of the worst movies of all time.
She did that the same year she won the Oscar.
Yep.
And everyone was like, will this movie ruin her chances at the Oscars?
Didn't she like bring her Oscar to the Razzies?
Or is that she showed up to the Razzies?
Yeah. I think Halle Berry brought hers. Yeah, she did that too. Hey, the world of filmmaking is very strange.
But honestly, now we can say this. He was not the Bradley Cooper we know today yet. He was still, young in his career in terms of becoming a movie star.
When would you say he really?
Probably. I mean, 18 wasn't like the big hit, but I think he was big in that.
I liked Limitless.
Limitless was his first by himself movie. He was in a bunch of the David Russell movies. American Hustle.
I think
Playbook.
Yeah, that was 2012, and then American Hustle was right after. So I think that was really. I think
Silver Linings Playbook was probably his first step into becoming a well-respected actor.
Yeah.
Not that he wasn't respected, you know what I mean? Like, not someone who just does these, silly comedies.
Mm-hmm.
But, and then you have Ed Helms, who was fresh off of The Office.
Oh, yeah.
Ending. Or maybe it was even still going on at the time. And Zach Galifianakis, who I guess was a stand-up. I mean, he had done a couple movies, but he was not.
Do you know what movie I saw him in for the first
Out
time?
Cold.
No, Bubble Boy.
Oh,
he plays the bus attendant.
That's right. He was in Bubble Boy.
God, that movie's so bad. I love it. And then obviously, Heather Graham was big. She
wasn't big anymore, but she was a name.
Yeah, she had been big.
Yeah.
Justin Bartha was
National treasure.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. And Geely.
Never saw Geely.
Ken Jeong, and this is the movie that shot him to stardom.
Yes, because he was in Knocked Up. He plays the doctor in Knocked Up.
He was an actual doctor in real life too, which is even funnier.
He did a show called Dr. Ken.
Yeah, and then he did one of his stand-ups. He talks about how he saved a person's life. So this is the movie that sent him into the stratosphere. He got very popular. I don't think he's ever recaptured it to the same point.
because all he does now is that Masked Singer show.
He doesn't do a lot, and a lot of cameos and stuff like that. But it's funny because and we're going to talk about this. All the characters in the first movie are at much lower levels than they will be in the next movies. Mm-hmm. Mr. Chow was hilarious, but he's the perfect example of people really like this character, so let's have the second movie really revolve around him.
Yeah,
and the same with the third, and it just didn't work.
No, it's knowing when you need moderation for a character. Mm-hmm. But they see people go, wow, I really enjoyed him. Let's bring him back. Let's give him more to do. And then not realizing, that was a very one-dimensional character. There's really not much more we can do with that. You say it too with the Minions and the Despicable Me movies. It's the Minions became this huge thing. They still are. Mm-hmm. And it's wild. How much more can we do with these characters? But they're doing it.
Hold my Gru. But so let's start with this first movie. The movie has probably the most simple plot of all time.
Simplicity. And
basically, it's about a group of 3 friends and the new brother-in-law.
Awkward brother-in-law.
And they want to throw their friend a bachelor party in Vegas. And they wake up after the first night with no memory.
None.
And the whole penthouse that they've rented is trashed. And we
still never saw the fallout from that.
No.
How much do you think they had to pay?
Oh, my God.
That room was destroyed.
Yeah.
Destroyed.
So... We do, yeah, that's right. We never see what happens because they have.
They find him and then they leave. And
they have Stu's credit card. Yeah.
They have my credit card downstairs. I am so effed.
Yeah, they never resolve it. Of all things, that's the one thing. So they get to Vegas and they lose their friend and they have no memory of what happened. So the whole movie is them trying to retrace their steps and try and figure out where their friend, who's getting married in 2 days or 1 day, whatever it is.
It's a very R-rated version of Dude, Where's My Car?
Oh yeah, it is. That's the best way to describe it, I think. Well done. So let's go through our list of characters. We already mentioned the actors.
Instead of my car, they're looking for our friend.
Yeah. So we have Bradley Cooper as Phil, and he's the star of this one.
Yes.
He's the main focus.
Yes.
Even though he's very much the typical really cool, likable, but also kind of a dick character.
Full of himself.
Very full of himself. He's stealing money from his kids. Oh my God.
The field trip.
The field trip money. What planetarium is $60 to go to? Come on. Those kids didn't figure that out. And it's just very he's the straight man of this group for the most part.
Yes.
It starts off with Stu being the straight man, but then he quickly loses his mind. So we have Ed Helms as Stu, who throughout the entire film they have to remind you that he's actually a dentist, not a doctor. All right. For the record, though, dentists do go to full medical school, and they learn about the entire human body. We do not take anything away from dentists. Did you ever see You've never watched Brooklyn Nine-Nine?
Only bits and pieces.
There's a great scene where Captain Holt loses his mind about somebody using doctor as a dentist. It's really funny. I'll show it to you after. But we have Justin Barth. I skipped Zach Galifianakis. Why would I do that? All right, we got Zach Galifianakis as Alan, another character who worked much better in this movie, and then they went way too over the top in the following movies. What are your thoughts on the three main of this one?
Just typical characters you would find in these types of movies, and as you've been saying, it's in moderation.
Yeah,
like they didn't know what they had in this movie, so they obviously didn't go full over the top like they would eventually do in 2 and 3. But it just was a perfect combination of the actors, the characters, the idea that just blew everyone away. And it's like, oh, well, what can we do next? Well, let's make the characters even more weirder than they already were.
But ironically enough, it's Alan and Mr. Chow that they just go way too far with in the next movies. The other two, like Bradley Cooper and Ed Helms, they still
pretty much play the same characters.
Oh my god, the second movie's the exact same plot. Justin Bartha as Doug, and he's only in the film for like
15 total minutes,
something like that, like in the beginning and at the very end. And basically, he's the reason that Alan is coming, because it's his future brother-in-law, and he's like, "Come on, guys, like I really mean a lot." And there's some, I want to go back to Alan because it just drives me crazy. He's not like dumb in this movie.
No.
He's like immature, but he's not like in the following movies, I hate to say it, they almost make him like mentally challenged.
In the later ones?
Yeah. They go way too far with how dumb he is and how almost nefarious he is. In this movie,
the second one is pretty.
It gets dark.
Yeah.
It gets dark. But in
Even
this one,
I mean, he's
very socially awkward.
Yeah.
I still can't ever not laugh at the line. I don't know what it is, but when he's sitting in the car to pick up Phil, do we have to be so close? I'm not supposed to be within 100 feet of a school or Chuck E. Cheese. And Doug's just like, wait, what? It's a lot of wait, what did he just say in this movie? But I can't. Heather Graham as Jade, as we mentioned, who is a stripper and escort, and we find out is the mother of the baby that they find. The baby also became a whole like pop culture thing. Like you still see like the stickers.
The baby with the sunglasses.
It's still the best.
And the baby comes back in the third one.
Yeah, that's a nice moment. I did actually like that moment in the third one. Let's see. Sasha Bareilles as Tracy, another character who we don't see much in these movies, like at all. Jeffrey Tambor as Sid, who is Tracy and Alan's father. He dies in the third one. I think that's like the catalyst. Like he has a heart attack because Alan buys a giraffe.
Something like that. Yeah.
That's how we have not seen the third one. Rachel Harris, who I've came to love in not only Lucifer, but then when I started watching Suits, she's in that.
Nice.
Yeah.
She plays
Melissa. Oh my god, the worst
person ever.
Thought it was a bartender.
It's a bartender on a cruise.
It does, and she was wasted. Oh god, she's terrible. Yeah. Like terrible person.
And this is the movie, the next person on the list. This is the movie that brought Mike Tyson back into the
of all things
into the stratosphere, really.
Yeah. So apparently, Mike Tyson, who does play himself in this movie, and he cameos in the second one. The whole "I can feel it coming in the air tonight," like that whole scene, and then he got punched in the face by Mike Tyson. He still got it. And that's why he doesn't have to give the steak to the tiger. He took a punch from Mike Tyson. This movie's super quotable. I can't. But apparently Mike Tyson did not want to do this film, but when he found out that it was Todd Phillips who was directing, who obviously he did Old School before this, and he's been in a bunch of Road Trip. Yeah. And he always cameos.
Starsky and Hutch.
And he always cameos in
His
a gross way.
His cameo in Old School is still the...
He always cameos as just a creepy guy. I'm here for the gangbang. Yep, Sean's losing it. I'm gonna have to keep the air clear because Sean's losing it.
Oh god, I love that. Old School is true. I think is still one of my favorite movies.
Oh, it's still so good.
I actually like Old School better than Wedding Crashers.
Ooh,
that's.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
I'd have to really sit with that one. Who'd win in a fight? Old School or Wedding Crashers? Apparently, Old School.
I just think Old School was just maybe the storyline was just a little better to me. I don't know. Like,
okay.
I also like Luke Wilson better than Owen Wilson.
That's fair. I'll give you that one. I do too.
And Vince Vaughn's another one where it's like moderation.
Yes.
Moderation. You were great in Old School. He went over the top in Wedding Crashers. It was still hysterical. Don't get me wrong. And then even him and Starsky and Hutch was great.
Oh my god,
just under the radar, just bad. But
let's see.
Sorry, back to
no, that's fine. That was perfect. Mike Epps is Black Doug, who that's how he's credited as. Don't come at us, please. Rob Riggle. I forget that Rob Riggle's in this.
Rob Riggle.
In the face.
He's another one that just kind of bugs me every now and then. He's okay.
You got to watch Holy Moly more, and then you'll be fine.
Is that they still do that?
Oh yeah, they renewed it for 2 more seasons. I'm so excited.
God. And I knew it was over when they went to animation and Steph Curry wouldn't even be in it anymore.
I think that was a COVID thing. Yeah. Todd Phillips does cameo in this one, as we mentioned.
Does he?
He's in the elevator.
I don't remember that one.
When they go up to the roof, he's in front of the girl that he's with.
I don't remember that. Okay.
All right, here's your PG-13 rating. He was going down on the girl in the elevator. They want to go up, and he actually says, "Oh, going down, guys." And
I don't remember that part at all.
I don't either, creep. But he's got some funny cameos. He did that. He did in Road Trip. He's like licking her feet or whatever. That's he's always gross.
Yeah,
because he looks gross
I wonder
too.
what his cameo in Joker was.
I don't think he did one in Joker, but we'll see. We got Mike Valley, who is a professional skateboarder who cameos. Wayne Newton and Carrot Top
appear in the photo slideshow at the end of the movie.
That's still one of the best ending credit scenes. Ironically enough, like at the end, so it's jumping ahead to the end of the movie, they find Alan's camera. And apparently they were taking pictures throughout the entire night. Because that was back when you actually used the digital camera.
Yeah.
And so, one of the questions he asks is, how did I end up in the hospital? Is that in there? And they go, yeah. They don't actually show it during the slides. They just show him in the hospital. So we never find out. It's really sad. But this movie is just so good.
Yeah.
I can't... This is one of those very few almost perfect movies. The only... I could still put it on and watch it.
Yeah, if it's on, I'll watch a few minutes of it.
Can't watch it edited.
It's not. Yeah, no,
it's not. It does not.
You have to watch it. You have to watch it fully, on cable or DVD wise, because it's not a movie you can really enjoy edited. Because what the hell can they show?
Yeah,
you can't show much. And I know they're getting lax now in terms of what they can show, like on TBS and TNT and FX, but still, it's not the same.
Mm-hmm.
It's not the same.
I don't think we even mentioned Mr. Chow. I didn't mention him in the cast.
Mr. Chow. I mean, this is a character that. The way we're introduced to him, he freaking
it's hilarious.
Jumps on Bradley Cooper's face when he's butt ass naked,
and you see everything. Good, kudos to him.
Oh, kudos to him.
I was watching.
Screw with me.
I was watching Forgetting Sarah Marshall the other day, and
that's another movie.
I know you, but Jason Segel when he does the full frontal,
yeah.
and I can't help it. It's just your eyes are just drawn to it. It's but yeah, Ken Jeong, he is probably the most quotable in this entire movie. Toodaloo, motherfuckers. Sorry, I know we usually keep it pretty PG, but no, not with this movie. But he's really funny in this movie, but he's not like he is in the next 2 movies. He just has very similar
and the fact
same
that
voice.
you make him a friend and a cohort to them just kind of takes away.
I think the idea was really funny, and then they just didn't write it out well enough.
Yeah.
But what would you give Star City rating for the first Hangover?
I'd probably give it a 4.
I'm with you.
I
4.
thought it was a great addition to the. It felt like a teen comedy, but it wasn't a teen comedy. It was, in the vein of Road Trip and vein of Old School, Wedding Crashers, similar humor, similar, actors. But it was just a pleasant surprise because there was no bankable star in this movie.
Oh, no.
When you saw Wedding Crashers, Owen Wilson was big. Vince Vaughn was, resurrecting his career, so they were known. I didn't know who any of these guys were really.
No.
Bradley Cooper,
Cooper, I knew.
Zach Galifianakis, I'm I recognize them. And Helms, I'm I recognize them, but they're not stars.
Yeah, and same with Justin Barth. I want to say, was this before or after?
Oh, this was after.
This was after.
Oh, yeah. National Treasure was 2003.
So I think ironically enough, he was the one that I probably knew the best.
Oh yeah,
besides Bradley Cooper.
He's not in the movie. What the hell? I came here for Justin Bartha.
I do love him as Riley. I'll say it. Riley
I love
cool.
the National Treasure movies.
They're so good.
I'm still bummed they never made a third movie.
Yeah,
the second movie was actually. I think I like the second movie better than the first movie.
I think it's pretty good, but
I give this movie a 4. It's quotable. It's memorable. It's funny. I mean, we were cracking up when we saw this in theaters.
Oh yeah, and this was also the perfect time. This was around that super bad kind of time.
Yes, the Judd Apatow movies were hitting their stride, and they were a different humor. They were they weren't stupid humor. They were more sophisticated humor, and it just wasn't as. I'll say it. I'm sorry. I find these much better than any of the Judd Apatow movies.
The problem with the Judd Apatow movies, I won't say Superbad because I don't think Superbad suffers with it.
Superbad is probably the closest thing to this that Judd Apatow did.
The problem with Judd Apatow movies are they're always 30 minutes too long.
Well,
and then he tries to get really serious. Like, what was it with Adam Sandler?
Oh my God, Funny People.
Funny People.
Oh my God, that movie was god awful.
The only thing about Funny People that I ever enjoyed was when they did their stand-up comedy bits, and even that was like some of it was hard to watch.
Oh my God, I've never been more annoyed at coming. Pineapple Express. I hated that movie.
I didn't care for it when I first saw it, but like I have a better appreciation for it now.
Yeah.
I still love in This Is the End where they do like the
That's
fake
another one.
the
Is
fake.
that Judd Apatow? Did he produce
Probably,
it?
I don't know. He's probably involved with it. But anyway, so let's move on to the second.
You didn't give it.
Oh my God! I said 4.
Oh, I didn't hear you.
I said 4, but after a couple drinks, I might give it a 4.5. Like if I'm watching this a little tipsy, it's. Or if you watch it with like a group of friends, or if you watch it with somebody who's never seen it.
Oh God.
Yeah. This movie came out in 2009, so some of the jokes have not aged particularly well.
All right.
A lot of homosexual jokes, but that was. I don't want to justify it, but it was just the time, right? We said it when we did Bill and Ted. They make a they make a comment too.
I was just gonna say, if you want to be politically correct, maybe it's not the movie for you, but it's a movie.
Yeah.
So you just gotta accept it for what it is.
In the face. So let's take a quick break, and when we come back, we are jumping into The Hangover 2 and 3.
Hey guys, it's Paul, and the Misfit Faction is looking for your help. We are trying to grow not only our network, but also grow our brands, and the best way to do that is if you guys are looking to start your very own podcast. Maybe you guys have been listening to us for a while. Maybe it's something you guys have always wanted to do, but you're not sure how to get started. If you go to podbean.com/misfitfaction, you guys will get a month of free podcasting on us. That is a gift from us. So make sure if you guys are looking to start your own show, you reach out to us and go to podbean.com/misfitfaction. Also, maybe you guys have your own online business or service that you're always looking to grow, and advertising is a very big part of that. If you guys go to sponsorship.podbean.com/misfitfaction, you guys can get $100 worth of free advertising, again, as a thank you from us to you guys. That's sponsorship.podbean.com/misfitfaction.
All right, we are back, and we're going to combine our second half of the show into the last 2 movies, because in all honesty,
there's not much we can talk about.
Well, I feel like we could talk a little bit more about the plot of the third one, because there's an actual different plot.
Yeah.
But the second movie is the exact same as the first movie.
I hear it. It was every time we bring up this movie, we just go, "What could have been if they had just thought about it more?"
Yeah.
Maybe we could have gotten a better version of 3 for the second movie. But instead, they were just like, well, let's just do it to him again, only in a much more interesting location.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
the third movie, I'll say they should have done second.
But that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
if you had come up with the idea of 3 for 2 and maybe just made it better, it would have been even great.
Because the third movie basically deals with what happened when they were in Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
Like apparently when they were in Vegas, Mr. Chow stole all this, what was it, gold or money or something silly
from John Goodman's character.
Yeah, and also Black Dog apparently was working for Marshall, because he makes that line in the first movie, "Marshall's gonna be pissed at me."
Yeah.
And they bring it back in this movie, and they kidnap Doug as collateral to get his money. But the second movie comes out, and there was hype for it, because the first movie, on a budget of like $30 million, pulled in over $300.
Yeah, it was like over $250 million.
Yeah, so it was a huge hit. It's the most critically acclaimed of the 3. So there was excitement for the second one. It came out 2 years later.
Yeah, it was Memorial Day weekend of 2010.
And Sean and I got to see it
part 2.
2011.
2011.
Sean and I got to see it at a theater down in Washington, D.C., and they served alcohol. It was the biggest reason we went, was because we were able to drink, and thank God.
It's not that we walked in that movie not knowing what we were going to see. We were hyped to see the movie.
Oh, yeah, because we loved the first one.
And I just remember watching it, and I'm just going like, this is the same freaking movie.
It is the exact same movie. The only difference is it's not a Justin Bartha's character.
No, it's so basically the plot of this story is Doug is now... Stu is getting married, not to Heather Graham, which I thought was a bummer, because I really was hoping that the two of them would stay together. But he has met somebody in the 2 years since. They are getting married in Thailand.
Because it's very important for Jamie Chung's family.
Yeah. And God, no offense, dude, I love you, but if you got married in Thailand, I would probably be like, F you.
No. The closest thing would have been some sort of destination wedding that's affordable.
Like Carmel?
No. We would have thought of something nice. But that's the big thing nowadays. Like, instead of having the big weddings, just take the money you were going to have for a wedding and just go somewhere.
Well, yeah. I mean,
I'd rather do like a 2-month honeymoon.
I can't afford to stay away from work that long.
I know. But you know what I mean? That's like a thing nowadays that people are doing. So this is 2 years after, and apparently they also it starts off with the bachelor brunch. Because Stu is still afraid of getting roofied, because we do find out in the first movie that Alan accidentally...
napkin over
yeah, so stupid.
Napkin over his orange juice.
Where did they go? They went to...
IHOP.
It
was like something stupid, like IHOP?
But he's telling them, hey, this is my bachelor party. I don't want to do anything. I don't want to celebrate.
Doesn't he not invite Alan at first?
He does not invite Alan, and Alan finds out, and he's sad.
Yeah.
So they end up going over... They convince Stu, like, hey, we won't do a bachelor party, but you gotta help out with the Alan thing, because apparently, like, his sister's putting pressure on Justin Bartha, blah blah blah. So they go over there, and they have all the pictures from the camera. He's got them blown up and hanging up on the walls. And it's funny because like Stu is all about it. Or not Stu, Phil's all about it. He's like, oh my god, this is awesome. And Stu's like mortified. But this is also where we get the first look at how different Alan is in this movie, where he is just
creepy.
He's like a 4-year-old creepy adult male.
Yeah.
Like it's a little weird. So they invite him along, and he immediately gets jealous of Teddy, who is Lauren, played by Jamie Chung, Stu's fiance, the younger brother of that character.
He's like the apple of the family's eye.
He's like the prodigy. He's like a cello genius and a pre-med at like the age of 12 or something silly. And like Stu's all about him too. Like he's like, oh, this is Teddy's like the best guy. Like, look at this guy. He's awesome. Ah. Shut up, Stu. Shut up. And they end up going down to Thailand, and a couple of points.
I just want to say, I'll never forget the scene where they're on the plane, and all of a sudden Billy Joel's Downeaster Alexa starts playing. I'm just like, that is the weirdest song to be playing right now. And it's just, it's Alan in the seat, and everyone's asleep, and Alan's just staring at Stu.
No, it's Teddy.
No, I thought he was staring at...
No, he's staring at Teddy.
Oh, he's staring at Teddy? I thought he was
because
staring
he's
at
going
Stu.
to kill Teddy. But so I will point out that one thing that always sticks out in this movie is how much Lauren's family hates Stu.
Oh yeah,
mostly because he's also a dentist, not a real doctor. Because these movies lean into the stereotypes. So we'll just say, and the Asian family stereotype is that everybody's a doctor, everybody's smart, blah blah blah. So they have the dinner, the big dinner, and all they do is make fun of Stu. And then I think Alan tries to do a toast and it just does not go well.
No.
But I remember watching in the trailers the following shot where they wake up and Justin Bartha's on the phone like, hey, where are you guys? Are you okay? And I remember that from the trailer. I was like, oh, they're changing it up. Like, he's fine. Something else is going to happen. Because we didn't know anything about Teddy going into this movie. This was back before things really got, like, spoiled ahead of time.
Yeah, because it's like after they did the dinner, they
go to the beach.
Go to the beach. They're sitting at a campfire. They have a beer, and they're roasting marshmallows. And all of a sudden it cuts to them waking up in a dilapidated...
See, this is also where
Bangkok.
We find out later on that it was Alan who did it this time on purpose.
Yes.
And it was only supposed to happen to Teddy. But he got the marshmallows mixed up. That was where Alan went straight up unlikable. Like, he's almost a villain in this story. And for me, I thought it would have made more sense if it had been Leslie Chow who did it to them. And it would have been funnier. Because they wake up in an apartment in, like, downtown Bangkok, and they have no clue where they got there. Stu has now a face tattoo. The Mike Tyson. This is a real tattoo. Ah! Alan shaved his head. Yeah. And I don't remember what happened to Phil. I don't think anything specifically happened. But they find Mr. Chow in there, and of course, it is a gross scene with the monkey and his wiener. And we find out that like they have this whole big...
I forgot about that.
Yep.
Thank you for
You're
that.
welcome. This movie dials up the gross to 11. Like, Sean and I have fairly good stomachs, like, for gross out humor. We'll enjoy it for the most part. For me, once it comes to bodily fluids, I'm kind of done.
Yeah.
Like, throw up and all that, and worse. But, like, there are times where we think it's hilarious as hell. But this movie goes so far, and especially when they go to the strip club. And it's hard to watch. And especially once the stripper, we'll go with, starts explaining...
high level, still.
Starts explaining what happened last night.
Yeah.
And in great detail.
Yeah. I just remember us looking at each other going, like, is this really happening right now? Yes,
I think that's where we checked out of this movie. That was the point where we can give this movie a chance. And then it got to there and we're like, and too far. You lost us. I'm sorry. Like, just too far.
And it couldn't bring up. And again, right? And even after all that, we're just watching it. We're just like, it's still the same freaking movie.
Yeah.
Even to the point where they realize what where Teddy is, how that happened, getting back to the wedding in time. You know, it's like, God damn, guys.
We will also establish that Mr. Chow gets arrested by Paul Giamatti. I forget that he's in this movie. Paul Giamatti is the detective.
I don't remember that at all.
Yeah, who ends up arresting. He tells them that he knows where Teddy is to get them to help him. And they set up Mr. Chow. Yeah, this movie's so weird.
I have no recollection of that
and the monkey,
at all.
And the monkey.
Oh, the monkey.
Yeah. But and then it ends with, you know, they make it back in time. Stu stands up to his father-in-law, and they're like, okay.
It's instead of what's her name now, it's the father-in-law.
Yeah.
It's like,
and they get married and blah 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 blah. But apparently, I don't know who this is. Nick Cassavetes had a cameo.
Nick Cassavetes.
Who is that?
He's a director. He's the son of a famous director, John Cassavetes, but he did The Notebook. He's also an actor. He's been in a few movies.
So he has a cameo appearance as a Bangkok tattoo artist.
That's right.
Originally,
it was supposed to be someone bit. Who was it?
Liam Neeson was initially cast in the role, but it was originally envisioned for Mel Gibson.
I remember hearing about that. I remember that. Like, they were like, Liam Neeson was supposed to be in this, and then he backed out, and then Nick Cassavetes was a random choice, too.
Yeah, I didn't recognize him at all.
I knew the name, but I just couldn't remember, you know.
Yeah. All right. It was a box office hit. Like, it still made monies. But
how much was its budget?
I just closed it out because we were going to do the third one. But
I'm sorry.
It had a budget of $80 million, and it made $586.8 million.
Most of that was probably in the opening weekend.
Yeah, but like it did well. In all honesty,
of course it did well. I mean, again, nowadays, if you don't do well after opening weekend, you know,
you're done.
You're done.
Yeah, I mean,
usually opening weekend is when you make the bulk of your money.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's talk about the third one.
Barbie's about to hit $1 billion globally.
Wild. I still gotta go see it. I gotta do a Barbenheimer weekend.
Barbenheimer. All right.
I feel like I just don't have time on the weekends anymore.
That's 6 hours right there.
Yeah, I know. That's a whole day. So let's see. Number 3. So this is 2 years later, and Leslie Chow escapes from prison during a prison riot.
What was your Star City rating for 2?
3.
Yeah, I was going 2.5.
Like I can watch most of it, and I think I have a better appreciation for it after seeing the third movie. Mm-hmm. But there are parts where I'm just like, I can't watch this part. It's just gross. But this one comes out, and we start off with Leslie Chow escaping prison, and now Alan's even weirder, where he
buys a giraffe.
Yeah, because apparently he has all this family money. Jeffrey, we knew that they were
wealthy,
well off, and he's just doing stupid crap, and he causes this whole big thing, and Alan's father has a heart attack about it, and
he decapitates a giraffe.
Yeah, so apparently Alan's been off his medication. He's out of control, so they do an intervention, and they're going to go to a rehab center in Arizona. So already, this movie starts off very different.
Yeah.
Again, this movie should have been
the sequel.
The sequel, and then the third one go back to that first movie idea. I think that would have been a much better, because we like how this movie ends with Alan's wedding, mm-hmm. and they all wake up, and unfortunately, Stu has boobs. But anyway, so as Alan agrees to go only if the Wolfpack takes him there. So they end up going, and they get run off the road by John Goodman, of all people. And we find out that a few weeks after the events in Vegas, Mr. Chow hijacked half of $42 million in gold. And Alan is the only person that he's been talking to in prison. I guess they're still pen paling. So they managed to meet up with Chow, and Chow tricks them into stealing the other half for him. And it's okay. It's wildly forgettable.
They tried to come up with an idea that wasn't
the same.
And there were some moments, there were funny moments, but for overall, it just by that point we were just kind of like, enough. There's really just not much more we can do with these characters.
Yeah,
in my opinion.
But it does end with Alan getting married
to Melissa McCarthy. That was funny, the two of them together. It was funny, and the bloopers are actually really good at that.
It's very much how in the second Anchorman movie they put Steve Carell with Kristen Wiig.
Yeah,
they not bad casting, and obviously both like at the time the actors are hot. Like, and
that's another movie that just was a huge letdown.
I still enjoy it.
The Winnebago scene to me.
Oh yeah, and also the ending battle scene is
Why
still.
do you have a thing of tarantulas or scorpions? A bowling ball. What are these bowling balls doing
It's
here?
pretty funny. Brick, where did you get a gun from the future? But anyway, we talk about more movies than the actual movies we're
There's
talking
not
about.
much to talk about with this movie.
Yeah,
Sorry,
but it's just okay.
It is. It's okay. It was, I'll give it a 3. It was slightly better than part 2, in my opinion. But it's
really,
still,
you're getting okay.
I'm gonna give it better than 2.
Yeah,
it's more. It's a better idea than 2, and
I'm gonna put it at a 3, same as I did for 2. They're both just wildly mediocre. I think I need to sit down and actually just watch this movie again, but because I could not tell you what happens in this movie, even though I've seen it and yeah.
We saw this in theaters.
We did. We saw them all in theaters.
Literally almost 10 years ago. It's been a couple months, but 10 years ago exact. 2013, this movie came out.
It's sad. I'm not okay with it. I'm actually really sad about it. I'm sad about everything.
Everything.
But, yeah, unfortunately, this movie, like this whole series, just went right downhill.
But as we'll get into in
Fan Feedback
Friday, Fan Feedback Friday, which will give us the example of exactly what we were talking about.
Ironically, you are the one that
I did.
You put this in there. I didn't even see this because I try not to look at it until we get there. But so this Fan Feedback Friday was, what is a movie series that should have stopped after the first film? Mm-hmm. We got Taken, which is a series we got to do also at some point.
I agree with.
The Hangover, well done. Saw, I can see that. Yeah. Dumb and Dumber.
That's only one, but
no, they made 2.
No, I mean, it's only one other movie. I don't count.
No,
that. I don't
you don't
count
count
when Harry met Lloyd.
Really? No. And Mission Impossible.
I actually was surprised by that one.
Hot take.
Like, I don't agree.
That's
I
our
like
friend
Mission
Mike.
Impossible movies.
He doesn't play around. I like it.
He doesn't.
But if you guys want to participate in Fan Feedback Friday, it's super easy. All you got to do is
Transformers. I don't know.
Transformers is another one. Yeah. But the Star Wars sequel trilogy. But I should have put that. That should have been really funny. But if you guys want to participate in Fan Feedback Friday, it's super easy. Go to our Facebook page. We usually post it between 8 and 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Usually.
You know what a hot take would be?
What would be a
What's
hot
a hot
take?
take?
What's a hot
They
take?
should have stopped after Star Wars: A New Hope.
Oh my god.
That's a hot take.
That's a hot take. That's a real hot
If
take.
someone could have said that.
Yeah. After the first Batman movie, they should have just stopped. Yeah. I almost said Superman, but I like the second one.
You do like Superman 2, which bothers
You don't like
me.
Superman 2?
No. It just
Okay.
It bothers me. There are some good scenes to it, but it's just not as good.
Kneel before Zod.
Yeah, but just
Cellophane S.
Well, that was a slight inconvenience. Stopped you, didn't it?
Yeah, it stopped you. But again, if you guys want to participate, just go to our Facebook page between 8 a.m. and 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on most Fridays.
Have you ever seen that power again since? Like,
No.
I want someone to bring that back.
All that stuff was made up in that.
I know,
They were just making up
I want
powers.
a comic book artist to be like, you know what? I'm going to bring back
Throw
the cellophane
the
S.
cellophane S. Yeah. But also, you can find us on all social media. We're on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. Just type in the Misfit Faction or Cinematic Adventures. Odds are you'll find some of our stuff.
Yeah, it's a strong odds. Maybe not. Though.
Good odds.
I wouldn't bet anything with it.
I mean, I would go to Vegas and count cards with Alan. Yeah, because apparently he won $86,000.
Rain Man spoofing.
Oh my god, so good. And Bradley Cooper just flipping off the cameras because they're all watching. Oh god,
Let's play some blackjack.
He's got no tooth. We didn't even mention that Stu in real life doesn't have that tooth.
Oh really? I didn't know that.
That's a fake tooth that he has in real life, and that he told them that, and that's why they put it in the.
Oh, I see. I never knew that. See,
I bet you weren't a good enough dentist to pull it out. So I don't. Let's really quick going back to this movie. I don't really think, or I don't know, personally, either having experienced or used them myself. Thank God. I don't think Roofies do what they do in the movie.
No. I don't know if it's a mixture of just how much alcohol they were drinking and them, but
Roofies
I really
and
don't
Jaeger.
know.
Dude, I couldn't handle 6 loyal cocktails last night. All right?
And you don't do Jaeger, so...
Ugh. Yeah, we've had some bad times with Jaeger. Jaeger's one of the few that's worse coming up. Yeah. But anyway, that is going to wrap us up on that fun note. That's going to wrap us up for today. As always, I'm Paul.
I'm Sean.
And we'll see you guys next time.